Welcome back to the HirePOS Fundamentals Video Series. In this video, we're going to look at availability and double bookings, what's available for hire, what isn't, and how HirePOS helps you spot potential conflicts before they become real problems. To properly visualize availability, we first need a bit of data in the system. So we'll quickly create a few example hires and bookings, and then come back to the availability screen to see how everything ties together. To start, we'll create an on-hire invoice. From Sales and Hire, we'll go to Customer Overview, select Test Company, and create a new invoice. In this case, we could just as easily have started with a booking. The end result here is the same. We'll tell HirePOS that this job was booked to start yesterday and that it actually did go on hire yesterday by setting both the booked from and the hired from to yesterday's date. We'll set the booked to date for next week and leave hired to empty, which means this job is currently on hire. This is what an on-hire job looks like in HirePOS. If you'd like a deeper explanation of booked dates versus hired dates, refer back to video 8 in this series, where we cover those date fields in detail while creating our first booking. Now let's add some items. We'll put an excavator and its attachment, a mud bucket, on this job. So at this point, the excavator and the bucket went on hire yesterday and are expected to remain on hire until next week. We'll save that. Next, let's create a future booking. We'll select Other Co or another customer, create a booking, and add 6 bar stools and 2 tables for an event next weekend. Notice there are no hired dates yet. This isn't on hire. It's just a booking with an estimated start and end date. We'll save that as well. Now, let's head over to Sales and Hire Availability. The availability screen itself isn't directly editable. Instead, it looks at bookings and hires, maintenance records and inspections, lag times, and other data in your system, and calculates the expected availability per item. Let's switch to the month view so we can see more at once. Here, we can clearly see the excavator and bucket currently on hire, and the upcoming booking affecting the stools and tables next weekend. Along the top, you'll notice filters that let you narrow the view by category or item, and toggles that allow you to switch between the quantity out, what's currently committed, and quantity in, what should still be available in your yard, warehouse, or shop. Which view you prefer often depends on whether your business deals mostly with bulk items or individual items. Many users switch between these views depending on the task they're doing at the time. You'll also see a toggle for itemized versus grouped view. Item groups are a concept that we'll cover in a later video, but you can also explore this further in the help guides when you're ready. Now, let's add another booking to demonstrate how quantities combine. We'll quickly create a small booking for another customer, adding 2 bar stools and 2 trestle tables, overlapping the earlier booking. Once that's saved, we return to the availability screen. Now you can see that HirePOS has added the quantities together, showing the total number of chairs and tables required on each day. If we switch to quantity in, we can see how much availability remains. If we click on a number for a specific day, we get an availability drill down pop-up. This shows each job contributing to that total, listed one under the other. This is how HirePOS thinks about availability, especially for bulk items. It looks at every booking and on-hire job for that day, adds the quantities together, and then compares that total to what you actually own. If the total required exceeds your quantity for hire, that's a double booking. So far, we still don't have a true conflict on screen, so let's create one. Our excavator is already on hire. Let's try to book it out to another customer for tomorrow. We'll set the dates, and when we try and add the excavator, you'll notice the row turns orange. That's HirePOS warning us about a potential availability issue. If we open the double bookings tab on the invoice screen, we can see a clear, plain English explanation of the problem. Clicking the warning gives us a visual drill down of the current usage. Here's a handy tip. Before adding an item, you can click Check Availability from the item selector. This tells you how many units are available between the book dates on this job. For demonstration purposes, we'll add this excavator anyway, knowing that it's a problem. We'll also add enough bar stools to cause another conflict. When we save the job, HirePOS presents a summary of all the availability issues on the next screen. You can click to review these as needed. Not all warnings mean disaster. Sometimes, HirePOS will flag a warning that you can manage in the real world. For example, you might have one job ending on a given day and another job starting on the same day using the same equipment. On paper, that looks risky, but you may know that you can return items early, turn them around quickly, or move them between jobs. These situations often show up as availability warnings. The key is to drill into the availability, understand which jobs are involved, and decide whether the situation is manageable or whether you need to plan alternatives like substitutions or cross-hires. Moving back to the availability screen, those issues now show up clearly. In quantity in mode, you'll see negative numbers indicating that availability has been overdrawn and needs attention. One final concept: quotes. Quotes do not affect availability or double bookings directly. They're designed to communicate pricing, dates, and details to customers, not to reserve stock. That said, HirePOS still helps you work responsibly with quotes. You can check availability while building a quote, and you can use the Include Quotes toggle on the availability screen to see how things would look if all of the quotes were confirmed. Let's create a quick quote for the Hilux and 3 trestle tables, and then return to availability. With Include Quotes turned on, you can see the quote appear. Turn it off and it disappears, allowing you to model different what-if scenarios without committing the stock prematurely. That's the core of how availability and double bookings work in HirePOS. Thanks for watching. You can always get more help and info at help.hirepos.com. See you in the next video.